Okay, so it's December 8th, 2019. I will put this first. What you're going to see after this is me getting up into that pantry and pulling out those buckets, getting into those buckets, looking for chocolate. I didn't find as much chocolate as I wanted to, so that means over the next few months, I'm going to be buying more than likely $50 worth of chocolate at a time. Anywhere between $100 to $200 worth of chocolate over the next course of the next several months to build up my chocolate supply. Right? I do have these little chocolate, they're already pre-formed cups that you put things inside with whipping cream and whatever. They're up high on the shelf, but I can't spend too much time with this. I ended up getting up underneath this cupboard and found a jar of canned carrots that had popped at some point, probably because, one, it was in that cupboard. Two, probably somebody was in there moving things around, rooting around for whatever reason. Anyway, I've took everything out, the other half there, kind of rearranging. And so I'm just going to upload this video as is. These are things I have to do, people, right? And when you think, look, it doesn't look like I've really done very much, but I've pretty much been doing this all day. And, I had to put the oatmeal back into the cupboard and the bowls and, a few more buckets, and because there's only so much room downstairs, right? So anyway, that's what I did today. Okay, so now it is December 8th, 2019. It's the next day. We're going to continue in there. What we're going to do is we're going to get up into these buckets and put them in whatever. We're going to go through them first, see what's in them, and then I'm going to take some of that stuff and I'm going to put them into those Tupperware bins. And then I'm going to put them onto the shelf that I just emptied out, which means I can take out some buckets. And if I can't put them into something else and put them on the shelf, then I'm taking out the bucket and I'm taking the bucket downstairs so that I can actually walk in there and use this more. But here's the problem. Remember I told you I don't have a porch? This is my sliding door. That is my porch. Now, mind you, I just piled in a bunch of stuff from over there. That bin is empty upside down so the rain doesn't get into it because, as you can see, right up in this corner, I've got English walnut bark and black walnut bark drying in the corner. And then I'm going to have to take a skill saw at some point, cut them down just a little bit, and then I'm going to put them in there and then move them somewhere else, right? But I took them out from outside where they got damp, and I'm drying them. And I've got this down here, which is full of bark that needs to dry, and then once it's dry, it will go in there. This little green thing, was in my little shed on the outside where I keep my nails and stuff. And then what happened was, because we know it's kind of like a leaky shed, right? It got a little damp and stuff, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it in, put it in the bathtub, wash it with bleach and water, soap and water and with a little bit of bleach, let it dry, re-tie it up really well, bag it, and then I'll restore it, versus leaving it there to continue to get wet. And so on and so on. So when I say I have no real porch, this is what I'm talking about, and this is what my kids don't understand. Because when you're canning or you're bringing in vegetables or food or whatever, right, it all adds up. Now, here is my little bay leaf tree. Of course, I had to bring that inside. So anyway, somebody suggested that I do it, what is it called? A herb smudge. So today, I'll go outside. You can see there's some sage. I've got some in the front too. I'll go grab a bushel full, like a handful, right? Tie it up, and we'll start working on that. And when I get out, especially into the basement, we'll just, do some blessings. So in the meantime, what happens is this all get moved. You see, I'm getting into my containers. These are like for vegetables and stuff. I bought them a long time ago. I'm not too sure if I like them. they're okay for short term, but when you're putting like vegetables and whatever, and you put them in the fridge, and you know, like you gotta have to be like using them quite regularly. I don't find that they keep any better than if you were just to use your trays on the bottom. So anyway, this is my porch, people. Uncle John used to sit here with, I still have the chair here. I just pulled out the chair. You can see there's the chair, right? And then I'm going to bring back my little round table that I have in Uncle John's room, a.k.a. Andre's playroom, so the plant can sit back up on it, right? But I always have the chair here. But, you know, even after I clear out this, as things come in, whatever they may be, you know, so anyway, think positive. Hold on.
Okay, people. So, see how Nana has lots of stuff in here. She has like pickles, homemade, coconut oil, dark coconut oil. What's that stuff right there called again? I think it was called oil. Yeah, it was oil. I guess here's some more oil right here. And like, there's some stuff in there and over there, like tomato soups. All there is over there is tomato soup, chicken soup, and that's where soup. I don't know. Oh, here, pumpkin soup. Sounds delicious. So you see what's over there? Something big. This is tuna? No, it's not. It's not salmon. Like, no, well, no, it's tuna. So maybe tuna. And there's a big cow pot. Sweet. See how now I keep pots and pans in here. And then there's some stuff out there. Everywhere. Okay, people, so that's it. Bye.
Okay, before we go too far into it, remember when we're going through our jars and sometimes we find things on them, right? And we're not sure if maybe the jar popped or if it's just something that was on the outside of the jar that maybe you didn't wipe off. And through oxidization, right, it picks up more color. Or this is the leftovers of a spider, right? Because when I put this stuff away, I always make sure everything's nice and wiped down, right? To the best of my ability. But obviously, I have spiders in there, right? With moths, and as houses do, right? That's just fact of life, right? Nowhere on the planet is there some place where a bug doesn't live of some kind, especially spiders. Can you imagine how many spiders are on this planet? More spiders than humans, I can tell you that right now. So, I just wanted to point that out, right? Because, you know, you see things, right, on your jars sometimes. And, like, as I've already taken out 2 buckets, I'm going to go through them. I don't know. Most of these labels are correct. Most of them. See, icing sugar, brown sugar, light. What else we got here? Cereals. It says cream of wheat of some kind, right? And then we've got powder milk, pudding powders, spider webs. I can feel them as I'm touching, so I'm going to have to get a big pot of water. This may be chocolate in here. I don't know. Could be old flowers. It says dates, various types. So all I basically want is to be able to, you know, keep this part fairly open, right? But now that I can get in here, hold on a minute. Did you see how quickly my porch filled up? In this bucket, Ooh, is those rices I was telling you about earlier, before you think that they're out of date and no good. You cook them up and you taste them, and chances are they'll be fine, even though it's got brown rice in it. If it's rancid, as soon as you open the bag, you'll smell it. That's the first thing you'll notice if it's rancid, right? But if you're not too sure, right, you can, oh no, this one's potatoes. This is a different bin. Oh, that's the other bin. Look at that. See, stuff like this can go downstairs. Look at that. This will be perfectly fine. This is corn. So this bin, just to save space up here, can go downstairs, and I'll put it somewhere else. Right? Because I don't need any of this right now. Hold on. Okay, so remember I told you there's rice? This is a brown rice that more than likely is fine. More than likely. Right? Obviously you can see. Alright. What else is in here? More rice. Again, this one's going downstairs. Okay, so it's already better in here. Do you see why I want to get in here? Those are like pizza pans, people. Nice pizza pans, too. Right? Used to use them all the time. But this house is a little small, so... Anyway, just getting up in here. My son might like this, actually. If not, I will take them downstairs. Right? Maybe I'll keep the wood one up for myself. I don't know. Probably. I don't know. We'll see. See, now I can get up into here. Alright. Those ones are 2017. Alright. See, there's that. Coconut oil. So, hold on. What am I gonna do? What to do, people? Okay, do you see here? It says 2017. It says 3.5 cups vinegar, 2 cups water. If we were to open this can, my son will tell you it's too acidity. They'll eat them, but they prefer less vinegar. Okay, because I was doing a little experiment one time. One with more vinegar and one with less vinegar. The only thing is you can't, how does that work? Again, read up on it. It shouldn't be less than 50% vinegar. Right? And you should have a little bit of salt in there as well, like a 1/4 cup or whatever it is, in terms of your brine mixture. Right? I tried one time, just because I came across something on the internet, whatever, canning pickles or something without salt, and just relied on the vinegar itself. They're okay, but I think your traditional dill pickle, right, depending on how acidity you like it, right? Just like you don't have to put hot peppers into your pickles to make them hot. You can just simply can cucumbers with just garlic, dill, and a bay leaf, and those just little, pickling spice. But if you want, you can spice them up with the actual red peppers, dried red peppers, and when you open up your jar, your pickles are going to have that bite. Just like you can increase your vinegar, right, or decrease, but don't go below 2 cups of water. Right? So if you got 2 cups of water, make sure you have at least 2 cups of vinegar. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. It's been a long time since I've canned pickles, because I didn't can them last year, and I don't remember if I canned them in 2018. Maybe a few jars tucked away somewhere, but outside of that, always read. Right? Okay. this one here, I don't know what it's labeled at. I might have to change the label on this one, people. Does it even have a label? See, what happened was... Oh, yeah. It says miscellaneous beans. Where am I? See? What happened was... You know, moving things around. A lot of this stuff at one point was downstairs. And then I, you know, moved stuff around from downstairs. And then this stuff kind of came upstairs. Then obviously it got buried, right? So you can see it's just nothing but lentils, the whole 9 yards. Preferably, I would prefer them in glass containers. But the food is dry. And again, it retains 85 to 95, well, 85 and up. I'm not going to say 95%. It retains up to 85% of the original nutrients in the food, right, after it's been dried. Preferably, you kind of want it vacuum sealed, but these are beans, so they're good to go. So these are going to go downstairs, and then, you know, whether my son eats a lot of beans, so hold on a minute. Okay, now this one smells good. Like really good. Do you see what's in here? Do you see what's in there? Oh, sorry. Do you see? That's the same stuff. Only this one's in a jar. This one is not. But I have other jars around, so maybe I'll top off this one in this jar and other jars. What else we got? Brown sugar. Big bag of brown sugar. Rock hard. The only thing you do with that, people, is when you're ready to use it, take a small apple peel or two and just put it into the bag. And within a little while, the brown sugar will soften up. These ones are rock hard too, but boy, oh boy, do they ever smell good. See, this is why you want your big pickling, the big jars, right? I don't have any in here, but I'll show you later, right? So you can put all that stuff in there, or, you know, like this, right? But boy, this one really smells good, people. And there's room in there, so that means as I come across, I can put into this bucket and fill it up. This one I'm leaving upstairs. Hold on. Okay. Now, something like this, in this case, right? If I don't like it, for me, it's not a waste, because I can just simply pour it into my composts, more than one box. Or sometimes I take whatever and I put it underneath my wood stumps. As my wood stumps sit in my yard and decompose over a period of time, I feed the worms underneath the stump so that it makes really, really good dirt. So by the time the stump is no longer viable, right, in terms of you need to replace the stump, right, then what happens is the dirt underneath the stump is like primo stuff. Primo stuff. So this is nothing that needs to be up here at this point. Obviously, I have this in a container somewhere, right? Now, I can smell it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. No bugs in there. You can see it's nice and clean. Oops, sorry, wandering eye. You can see it's nice and clean, right? So I'm just going to take this bin downstairs and I will deal with it another day. Whether it goes in the compost or whether it goes into food is hard to say, only because it's been there for a while and it's a flower, right? So hold on. Okay, do you see what's happening here? How it piles up because I don't have a porch? Do you see? Right? And then everybody wants to start barreling through the door here. Anyway, I just want to say, you have to remember, back in 2010, 2011, I had 9 people in this house, people, that were dependent on me. We haven't gotten into these ones yet. I'm curious to see what's in, well, let's see how many dates I've got in there. I don't know if I open this one. Hold on. Okay, and just because the bucket may say dates doesn't mean it's been in here since 2011, because one time I remember these here, I vacuum sealed these. I'm not going to take them out right now. I bought a big box of dates, right? when Uncle John was here. Andre was not. So this was after. Here, I can take this one. This was after Andre was taken and before Uncle John was taken. It was in the middle of that time period, right? So that would have been 13, 14, right? So obviously I took what was in the box and I vacuum sealed them. So all these in here are they're perfectly fine. And then of course I bought, and this was in case of an emergency more than anything else, people. It wasn't, these are dates as well, right? You can see the bucket is clean. So this one we're going to keep out because Andre wants to learn how to be a chef. I don't know if he's going to be a baker or a chef. Maybe he'll be both. I don't know. But these we can definitely cook up. They're high in calcium, right? And if I come across any more, I can just top off this bucket because I probably have raisins and who knows what I've got in these buckets, people, right? But you get my point, right? So these are still fine, so we'll leave this bucket up. Okay, this bucket can go downstairs too, although I may keep it up. Now, one thing I do find, these will be okay. The cream of wheats, right? They're pretty good. They'll stand up to the test of time, whether they're in long term or just in something else. So stuff like this is a cream of wheat. It's okay. It's not going anywhere. But this kind of stuff, I find, no. It's not going to kill you if you eat it, but it's not, after a while, they don't hold up. I find that. So if you were short on food and you really had to use it, I would put it into bread and that kind of thing, a tablespoon or 3, at a time, to kind of use it up that way. Otherwise, to cook it up and eat it straight up from a bowl, I don't know. It's hard to say, right? Depends on how long it's been in there for. But I find these ones don't hold up as well as, say, cream of wheat does, right? Hold on. It's a hit and miss. Again, it's not going to kill you if you eat it. It just might not be as fresh as it was when you first bought it. So before you throw it out, right, grind it up maybe in a mortar, taste it, or just stick it in your mouth, taste it, boil it up, taste it. If you don't like it and you really just think it's not worth keeping, then for sure, put it into your compost, feed it to the birds, whatever you're going to do, right? But don't be too hasty to throw it out, because you can mix it in with other foods in terms of bread making and that type of stuff. So this one here should probably be recycled. So we'll leave this one upstairs, right? Try and do something with this in our travels. So hold on. Okay, here's another fun bucket. So we're going to take out the brown sugars, and this one is not quite hard yet, but you can see what's going on in here. There's some icing sugar, so we're going to keep this bucket up. It's been sitting. No, this one's okay. Whoops, sorry. This one's okay. This one is getting kind of hard. But in that case, again, take it out, put it in a bowl, throw in an apple peel, put a plate over it, and within a day or two, it will start softening up, and then you can put it in a jar. If I had more room for big jars, all this stuff would be in jars, right? But I don't. This was for long-term food storage. So now that I'm going to be getting more into cooking with Andre, we'll make sure that this one stays up, and we'll just leave what's in there right now, because I've got another bucket in my little bathroom where the chocolate is and all that other stuff, which has probably sugars, which can still go into that other, right? So we're just kind of like condensing everything here. Hold on. This is the other bucket. This is like breadcrumbs. There is that beef soup stock that I really, really like. And if you've been watching my videos, my jar is empty. Not anymore. Nope, I'm keeping that out. I like it, people. What else? We got more breadcrumbs. What is this? Looks like seaweed. Some of the seaweed I should take depends on how much I paid for it. It's probably more. Oh, that's for sushi. So I'm going to leave this one up because it's handy, because I want to get into sushi making a little bit with Andre. Right, there's probably sushi rice in there. That's seaweed. This would be sushi rice, probably, more than likely. This one here is good for my compost, which I need, because I never did make it to the ocean. So I'm going to take that out. I'm going to throw that into one of my composts as I'm going about my business. Right? That was cheap. Real cheap, like $1.98, so I'm not too worried about it. These other ones are a little more specialty. Those are more expensive because they're made specifically for sushi. So we're going to leave the sushi and the breadcrumbs out. And then that one will stay. Right, I'll write down what's in there because it has no label. This one here is just plain old white flour. Now the thing about flours is white flour, like white rice, will last forever. So it's when you get into your browns that things can go rancid. Doesn't mean that it will. It just means that it can. And just because it goes rancid doesn't mean it's going to kill you, right? Unless, of course, it's really bad, right? So just keep that in mind when you're doing this stuff, because you're like, oh, I bought this and didn't use it, and I'm wasting money, and why am I doing this? And, well, it's not that you're wasting money. You're prepared for a disaster, whether it's a financial disaster, whether it's a natural disaster, whether it's a man-made disaster, whatever that disaster is, because they do come. And if you're responsible for a family, you know, you got to be able to maintain a certain level of to be able to predict that you can feed them through those crises as they occur. And, you just recycle what you have. And if you have compost box and you throw in a old bag of brown flour into it, you're not doing that compost any harm. And just think of it like that, right? In terms of like, that's a white flour, so that will go downstairs. And then as I'm cooking in with Andre, I know where there's white flour because I have a couple of more bags because I plan on getting into this pretty soon hardcore. So anyway, as you can see, this here, these ones can go downstairs. These are just basic soup base, right? This is probably beef, and this is probably chicken. But because I don't do I haven't been really doing a lot of cooking like the good old days, right? You know, this stuff sits there. And again, if I find that I don't like it, for me, it becomes worm food. And then the garden is happy. So, I'll be back. Hold on. I'm going to get the other buckets and pull them out from the bathroom, bring them in here. Now that I've taken out like 3 buckets or almost 4 buckets out of here. And I'm going to just condense them down a bit so that I can remove a couple of buckets from my bathroom, right? And I'll have everything here that I need to make cakes, donuts, cookies, bread, muffins, and basic meals, right? In terms of like all this dehydrated potatoes. Alright, I got them all over the place. So we need to get up into this stuff. What we need to do is boil up some of these potatoes, take some of that canned salmon that I canned several years ago. What I plan on doing is cooking the salmon on the stove for 10 minutes, right? Bring it to a boil, just to be safe. Turn it down, have it on a low boil for 10 minutes. And then, after it cools, I'm going to put it into the fridge so it can congeal. That's what I'm thinking. And then I'm going to mash it. And you can either use fresh potato, or you can pre-make your dehydrated potato, and you can mix the two together, and then with an egg and a few spices, and then you can make salmon potato patties with a sour cream dip or something like that, right? Or even with that cucumber thing that I made before I ended up making it into a soup. I mean, there's multiple things that you can do, right? So we're going to keep the dehydrated potatoes out for sure. So hold on a minute. Okay, so this is how you do it. So this bucket is just labeled basically various brown sugar, right? So in essence, what it is just your normal golden yellow sugar, then your best brown, right? And of course, there's always Debittered, which is even darker. You can see there's more. And then of course, there's whatever's in there. And then this one here is a Punjabi sugar, which I have already in my counters. I buy quite regularly, right? So, again, this one here, we know we have, and I have a bit more yet, right? So what I'm doing though is I'm just packing up this particular bin. I have these in a jar somewhere. I don't know where. But if we can get this in here for long term, it just stays in the corner. But when I'm cooking and I run out, I know where it is, right? And then we've got this one with more brown sugar, you can see, with the icing sugars. And then as I go into my other buckets, you'll see what will happen. Okay, so now I'm going to have to recharge my battery here pretty soon. As you can see, some Jello. See, stuff like this, I'm going to move to the other location. I think I have a little bin downstairs, another bucket. I don't know. I'm always moving things around. So anyway, we know where the chocolate's going to go. I'm going to take the chocolate out. Remember that jar? Well, look at that. That's going to fit nicely into the jar. So any chocolate, I'm taking out all the chocolate. And then what's going to be left in here is specialty sugars, pretty much, that I'll put with puddings. Right? Flaxseed doesn't need to be in there. I'm just going to make this straight up sugars. Take out the Jellos. I'll put the Jellos with the puddings. Right? And then you can see the different kind of sugars I have in there. Right. I want to see this one. Look at that. Can you see? Product of Indonesia. When you get into these kind of sugars, because they're so dark, your nutrients increase. They should. Like molasses has, it's not really a sugar, but it's kind of like a sugar. It has a lot of, what is it called? Calcium in it. Anyway.
What's this?
Food. See, there's brown sugar in here too, just like normal yellow sugar. Right? So this one here, technically, depends on how full I make this one.
What's this now?
Those are tapioca.
Tapioca?
Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to put all these little specialty sugars, not the flaxseed though. I'm going to take out the chocolate. I'll take out this one. And I've got other sugar, a couple of more of these things, right? I'm going to put in here. Hold on. Okay, so I kind of changed my mind here. What I've done, now that I've got this extra shelf, right? I cut open these bags. And I mix the two of them in with this jar. And I just shake it up. Because they're pretty much similar, right? Different brands. Organic coconut palm sugar. Right? Yeah. Refined. So this one here, above syrup. So, palm sugar. Vitamin C, 23.4. Thiam, 0.41. It has potassium, magnesium. Okay, so the more you get into your darker sugars, obviously the better it is. Right? This one here has a recipe, sweet and salty, brownless gluten-free. Anyway, so anyway, those two I put in that one jar for now, right? Because I don't like things sitting in plastic bags, but what you gonna do, right? I'm not gonna take out everything, but some things I am. Golden cane sugar, I don't know. I don't know what's so special about that, but you know, just stuff like this, I don't know. Maybe we'll see. And then of course we've got this one, but I've got like 3 more of those kicking around because I already filled up my jars, right? That's the thing. So before I go off and buy more, I know where they are because I couldn't get in here, people. So, you know, I'm shopping and I'm buying even though I had it. So that's why I'm going to make it so I can get in here and start using this stuff. So this one shelf, I think I'm going to start just kind of bringing my sugars into here. So I know where that I have them. I have another corn syrup up where the chocolate is, so I'm going to bring that and put that here. I don't cook with a lot of corn syrup. If anything, I make my own apple peel syrup, blackberry syrup, you know, those kind of syrups for pancakes and stuff. I really like those. And of course, I buy maple syrup, right? And then once in a while, I'll buy the Aunt Jemima corn, like syrup for pancakes, because everybody likes that, right? But for the most part, I rely on my own that I make with real sugar to make pancake syrup and that type of thing. This would be more for like a specialty recipe or something if I was to start getting into things that required an actual amount of corn syrup. But I'm going to put the other one over here so I know I have 2 of them because I have something similar like that, right? And then, so I'm going to just, I have another, I'm almost positive, a square bucket with chocolate and probably brown sugars in it. I obviously moved it, unless of course I emptied out the bucket and put it into other buckets, but I don't think so. I know where to look for this bucket, and if I find it, I'm going to bring it up, and then I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing here, right? Because then this way, you know, you're condensing everything, right? Do you see? Do you see? So what's going to end up happening is I am going to cut off the labels on one of these. Sorry. Nothing fancy. And just put it on the inside, or I'll tape it, on the outside so we know what it is, right? And then we have it here. And again, if it toughens up, hardens up, just a little apple peel when you're ready to start using it. Oh, scaring myself in here, something moving. It will soften up when you're ready to use it. So I'm just making things handy right now. Okay, so what I'm doing now, people, is I've opened up this organic brown sugar, which really doesn't have a lot of taste, believe it or not. And this one, okay, this one here is much more moist than the other one. And I've taken a mason jar, a large jar, and I'm putting it into the jar, half and half, right? Because I want to get these out of the bags as much as possible now.
Brown sugar?
Huh?
Brown sugar?
Yeah, well, these are specialty sugars. These we'll use for maybe when we make donuts or something. We'll make special glazes or something, right?
I'm just gonna make a hot chocolate, but I didn't work already.
Oh, well, that's the only one that you get for a while now because you've already had one. So I'm just showing you to save space, right? Because, you know, at the end of the day, we're not running a gourmet restaurant here. So then this one here, you can see, pours out quite nice, right? Because the other one is much thicker, right? You have to stir it in. And just stir it in, right? Now, over a period of time, if you're not going to use it, obviously it's going to harden up because you took it out of the vacuum seal bag. But again, all you have to do is just put a little apple peel in there, and it will work to soften everything up. But hopefully I'll be able to start using some of this with Andre over the next month or two. That would be ideal. Okay, so what happens, people, over the years is I get robbed. I've had whole cases full of canned salmon that I canned robbed from the basement. Okay. Now, I can't find my other container with chocolate because I know I had more than just that. Right? In terms of being in a container. Now, there is still one other place I can look. Maybe I stuck it there. But, you know, over the years, if it's not my fabric being stolen, because I've had it happen 2 times before. One time when Shimei had her native friend stay with us for a little while because she was in a transitional stage of going into independent living. That's when Shimei couldn't understand why she couldn't get independent living because she was such a good kid and she wanted to go out and be on her own, right? And her friend, who was quite a naughty child, teenager, right? She was getting rewarded with independent living anyway. She needed a place to stay before she actually got the place. She asked me if she could come, and I said, you know, years had passed from the last time I looked after her. I said, sure. Long story short, that girl robbed me probably about $3,000 worth of fabric, sequins, beads, the whole 9 yards. I should have checked her bags as she was carrying them out the door. Sierra kind of hinted that I should have, but she didn't come right out and say it, so I just took it for face value that the girl wouldn't steal from me. But there was a time when we went out and she didn't want to come and we let her stay in the house by herself, so she had hours to do what she wanted. And she basically rifled through my shit and probably walked out with about $3,000 worth of sewing stuff. Because she was taking my strand sequins, like, you know, in terms of it running, right, thick, and then beads and fabrics and the whole 9 yards. And then at one point, Sierra was rifling through my shit, right? And this was before she'd even got, you know, turned into a junkie. This is when she was upstairs living in her bedroom with Andre. But I've always had a problem with Sierra stealing from me. I think for Sierra, it was just more of the thrill of it than it was anything else. Because it's not like she needed the money or anything. But it's at the point now where I just don't even like her in the house. She hasn't called me from jail, people. I'm actually starting to wonder if maybe she's not in the hospital or something because she hasn't called. We sent her a bit of money. I don't know if she's gotten it yet, but she hasn't called in like almost 2 weeks. So that's kind of suspicious because she was calling all the time. So I don't know. Considering her health, I'm just wondering if maybe they put her in a hospital setting. And who knows what those people are doing with her people. Like, seriously. Like, Sierra has been so abused by the system, it's not even funny. And then, of course, I've had, you know, other things stolen from the basement throughout the years. Get into my food storage, right? They, you know, took like 2 or 3 cases of canned salmon one time. Just stupid shit like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if I didn't lose a bin along the way or it's been rifled through, right? Because I know I had another bin of with more chocolate, with a lot more chocolate in it. So I haven't found it yet, but that's okay because it's not like I can't go out and buy it if I need it, right? And then, so what I'm doing here basically. Right, I'm not going to open them all up. Just kind of got those jars going here. This one's going to need an apple peel because it's been there for a while now, right? Sorry, I don't even know if I was recording. If I come across another organic coconut, I'll just pop it into that jar, right? But we've already got this jar. And then I mix those two together. You can see I put the 2 labels. I put the one little label on the bottom and then the other one on top. So that's 2 different sugars kind of just mixed in together. And then the only thing I found downstairs was this one. I don't know, ginger red sugar. I don't know, maybe it tastes like ginger. I don't know. So we'll try that. And then I've got these other ones. So, and then I brought up just a little bit of rice flour here, just to put them in a jar. And I'll put them in here, and maybe we'll experiment with that. So hold on a minute. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, here's 3 more bags of this yellow sugar. I've already put the darker sugar in the container, but anyway, that's the icing sugar with sugar. And then this one is the more specialty sugars. Hold on. Right? The more specialty sugars, I guess. In here, I'm not putting everything in a jar. When I start cooking with Andre, we'll go through it. Or whatever, it doesn't really matter, right? And then in my travels, once in a while, I'll pick up some different kind of sugar and just pop it into the container. Okay, I found some kind of bucket. It has tapioca, so I'm going to put that with the puddings. Here we go again. You can see. So it's going to go into this specialty bucket. I'm not taking them out right now because they're soft. And until I start cooking, here's some raisins from back in the day. Right? That really should go in the date bucket. But anyway, here's some prunes. Right? Which is dates. I'll show you. I doubt there's chocolate in here, but I don't need to buy sugars for a while. So when I'm out and about, Andre wanted to make a cake, so we'll keep that out. When we're out and about, I'll, what do you call it? I'll stock up on dark, very dark, what is it called? Chocolate. This is sugar, so we're going to put this fancy sugar down there at the bottom with the rest of those sugars. Hold on. See? That there. What else we got in here? Raisins. It's all raisins, people. What's in here? Raisins. Do you know how expensive it is? You go to the store now and buy a bag of raisins this size, and I have raisins in containers. To go to the store and buy a bag of raisins, well, maybe not this size, but where's that other one? This size. To go buy a bag of raisins this size for this brand is like $8-9 now. It's ridiculous. When I bought them, they were $4.95. Price matters. Looks like there's a few of them in there. And more raisins. So this is raisins. It's raisins. Pineapple. Raisins. Dates. Prunes. Those are prunes. So anyway, this bucket's staying up. Hold on. Okay, and just as a note here, before I buy these again, people, these don't even look good anymore. If you look at them, these are, I don't know what they are. Obviously blueberries. They're supposed to be dried, but honestly, I've dehydrated my own, and I like them better because mine will stay forever. And if I was to open up one of those containers of mine, Andre likes them like candy. These, I think, are going to the compost. You can see what's happened to them. Right? So at some point, I'm going to open them up and then just put them into the compost. Okay. Everything else in here is fine. You can see that's fine. So in a situation like that, you would just cut them up and put them into cookies or cakes or whatever. So that's fine. It basically just reads raisins and other dried fruit, minus those blueberries. right? I wanted to show you this jar as I was going transporting jars. Oops, sorry, wandering eye. Yesterday, or the day before, or whatever it was, because I was taking them out of the kitchen cupboards and then taking them into Auntie Shmei's room, right? Because it's colder, right? The colder the better. Not freezing cold, but the colder the better. Anyway, if you notice, this jar popped. This is what a jar would look like if it unsealed itself and it was behaving correctly in terms of not resealing itself. The majority of jars don't reseal themselves once they pop. Okay? Doesn't mean that they won't, but the majority don't. And in this case, this one didn't. You can see it's bulging. It's not concaved. It's not concaved. It's bulging. So, because it's a relish with vinegars and sugars and stuff like that, I'm just going to empty that one into the compost. Okay? Because of the vinegars, right? It's not going to kill the worms because it's going to be spread out, right? And it's not going to so much carry botulism as it would if it was canned meat. In that case, if it was canned meat and you could tell that the jar was no good, it's recommended that you boil it for 10 minutes and then, empty your meat out into a pot of boiling water, boil it for 10 minutes and then discard it, as well as boil your jars before you wash it. And in this way, you guaranteed, right? So anyway, I put that there, so hold on. Oopsie. I put that there, so hold on a minute. Okay, so I took these out of my room here. If you notice they're in containers, you have to do that, people, because if you don't, those moths, they get into them. So anyway, this is all like miscellaneous little packets of something. You can see, right? So, I mean, I didn't have to take them out of my room, but it would be nice if I had more room in my room. Make sure that your lids are completely closed. Now, I'm going to open this up. I'm going to show you in a minute, right? I just wanted to show you that. But do you see this blue Tupperware, right? Do you see those? Do you see what they look like? Those ones are going in the compost. I'm going to show you what mine look like, right? Hold on a minute. Just to give you a quick show. Completely different, people. And these things, oh my God, they're so good. When Andre came home from foster care, I had lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of these things. I'm just getting into the chewing part. They taste like blueberry. These are so good. I used to give him this dry like these, right? And he ate like 5 containerfuls. Finally, I ended up putting them away because I have to go out to the farms and buy the big boxes, right? For $22 or whatever they sell them at nowadays. And dehydrate a whole bunch more because those are the best. So if you want dehydrated blueberries that are going to last forever, trust me, go buy fresh blueberries from the farms if you can find them. Or even in the grocery store, as long as they're fresh. As long as they're fresh. And dehydrate them, put them in good containers, and you're good to go. They'll sit forever. Buy them in a bag like that, for whatever reason, they don't last. Stuff like this, oh, this smells so good when you open it up. Every now and then you have to check it, because all it ever takes is just the one moth to come in, either with the product, right, for whatever reason, you missed it, you didn't see it, or they somehow get in through in here, right, and take out the air, and then you've got all these little things, and these kind of things you can buy, in your travels with your regular shopping without it really breaking the bank in terms of, what do you call it? Costing a lot of money, And then it, save it. What's in here? I don't know. Let's see. What do I got in here? These kind of things. Obviously potatoes. Spices. Indian butter. Chicken. Stuff like that. Right, you can see stuff like this doesn't go bad. Just make sure it's in a very, very, very good container. And then always check the little moths. They like to get up in there if they're going to get. Now these have been in my bedroom, which technically I don't have moths in there. Right, so maybe that's why they're not infested. When I put them in here, who knows, anything's possible, because there's a lot more, right? Because this is a kitchen area and they come to where food is. Right, so anyway, this is a pretty good container though. It's kind of hard for moths to get into that one. Right, and then we've got, see, I'm bringing all this stuff for Andre, so that when, well, not for Andre, but for when we start actually making meals together, so he can learn. Right, here's another one. Seems like the lid on it is pretty good. And in here, basically just different kind of soup mixes for if you're wanting just that kind of soup as a just basic bowl, or if you want to add it to a different soup, right? And then you've got stuff like this. So one day I'll just bring out the whole container. Andre and I will go through it, and then we'll decide what kind of meal we want, and then he'll learn how to use these things, right? And then, just to give you an example, this was green beans from 2011, where the last time I put them in here, they were fine. I brought them from downstairs up, but when you open it up, you can tell something got inside for whatever reason, however, because they no longer look like beans. Well, they do look like beans, but they've disintegrated because obviously the moth got in there and decided to have a party with its friends. So that's going out to the compost. And then this is snow peas. I mean, back in the day in 2011, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I just was watching all those food preppers, and Fukushima radiation was like coming up into the West Coast, and like I seriously got infected with Fukushima radiation with Tisha when we were out and about in April of whenever the fucking rains came in 2011 or 10 or whatever. It blew its stack, and like we all, the whole house got sick. Everybody got sick for a whole week. Dehydrated, some people got rashes, dry lips, slept, everybody wanted to sleep, right? Diarrhea, didn't want to eat. And Tish and I, we got it pretty bad because we were doing spring cleanup and we got caught, well, I got caught in the freaking, it was like a thunderstorm. Anyway, so, now, I don't know if I'm going to keep these ones because I opened up the container. I mean, they are kind of still green. I'm sure they're fine. No bugs got in there. So to put them into soup, it's dehydrated food, people. It's not going to, it's not. It's like those carrots. It's like those carrots. Oh, I never did do anything with that zucchini because I was just too busy. I just put it outside into my dirt, and I'm going to dig it into the ground. When I'm not so busy, I will experiment with the zucchini another day. I do have it up here in the cupboard. And then, of course, anytime you're doing food prep, you have to make sure. Now, this one isn't a little wind-up one. Hold on. I don't even know how to turn it on. It's not a little wind-up. It's not a little wind-up one, but it's a little radio. Does FM and AM. I don't know how you get into AM. Oh, doesn't want to do AM, but anyway, for a natural disaster, you know, we're not completely cut off from the world. Because you have to remember, people, what's going to happen is, at best, what you're going to get from the government is some bag, a bag of, like, is some bags, right? Some bags of flour, basic rice, maybe a little bit of lard, right? That kind of stuff. You're not going to get too much more, maybe a bag of beans. And the line is going to be long because most people don't do this kind of stuff, right? Because they've been conditioned to think that food will spoil by its expiration date, which is not true. And like I've mentioned in a previous video, right, that, you know, morally, by principle, a government is supposed to be able to have at least 7 years of food stockpiled in warehouses in the event of a depression, natural disaster, or whatever it is. And unfortunately, that's not the kind of society we live in now. Now it's like, let's see how many people we can kill off and make a profit off of it, unfortunately, right? With fentanyl being the #1 killer right now when it comes to that, right? Because of organ harvesting and just the money laundering that goes through it. So anyway, I'm going to end this video now, just because it's probably quite long. As you can see what I've been doing, I'll just give you a little look, right? I'm going to continue. Sorry. Here's some nice rice, right? I got rice at other places, right? You can see, well, maybe I'll wait until I'm done and I'm ready to close the door so you can see kind of how I made it. Here I put, you know, I'm going to go get the other syrup, and I'm going to just put it in there so I know where it is. Right, there's those little brown sugars. I put the pickles back there for the most part, those ones anyway. Just a few jars of those. There's a lot of sesame seed oil in there, right? Nothing fancy. This is a brown sugar, right, that is actually meant for donuts and that kind of thing to sprinkle on top. I have lots and lots of that somewhere else, but that's just one jar. I'm going to take those, I'm going to open them up, look inside, because moths will get into soup bases, right? So before I take them downstairs, I'm going to look at them. Other than that, you know, then I'm going to taste them, and if I like them, I'll keep them. If I don't like them, they'll go in the compost. This is pasta, that, like macaronis. They're not actually spaghettis. The spaghetti must be downstairs. And then I'm just kind of like grabbing a few things off my counters, just whatever. I'm just trying to make it, you know, make it where I can use this more, right? Hold on a minute. So, I guess I'm not done yet. Here's another container, right? And what this one has in it are these things. Do you see? I like these for if I'm making a pea soup or something, right? They're good. I really like them. Now, it looks like there's two different kinds here. If you look at it, it's different. I just bought these. These ones are already in here. The ones I showed you over there, they're different kinds, right? So, what I've done here, as you can see, and if you notice, nothing's in it, right? No bugs, because bugs like this. Moths, they like this kind of stuff. They really do. They'll actually eat right through the container if they want it bad enough, okay? So I'm going to take those, which I just bought, and I'm going to put them in here. Now, these ones have, oh, I don't know, Anyway, it says no artificial colors or flavoring. I don't know what the difference is. I like this one personally, right? So I'm just going to add those ones into here. Hold on. So yeah, you want to do food storage? Do stuff like this too. Get yourself, go to Value Village, places like that. Look for, go to Value Places, go to Value Village, little thrift stores, places like that. Value Village is good because they have more of a selection. And go find yourself some really good containers, right, that hold their seals so that you can do stuff like this, okay? Because you want this stuff too, right? And then, of course, dehydrating and bagging it in paper. And then vacuum sealing what you've done. This will be perfectly fine too. Okay. In another spidery cupboard. Do you see that jar right there? Look what happened, people. Can you see it? It popped and it leaked. I don't even know why that was there. Looks like it was carrots. It was. It's not carrots anymore. Right? These are okay. Those are asparagus. It's because I got over there and I rearranged that side and up on the top. But I don't know how long that's been there for in terms of that jar. But definitely something's happened to it. You can see. Right? So we're definitely going to take that out. That's no good. I'm looking for beans. Hold on. So yeah, just listen. No good. 2013. Obviously it got put in there and probably knocked around, and it's not extremely cold in here. Right? So, I know. Anyway, time to clean out this cupboard too. See, I'm getting like access to things that I'm sure that popcorn is still good. Okay, now this is why you kind of want your food storage all in one location where it's cool, people. Honestly, I don't know why that is there. I feel like I don't know if this is going to die or what. Just hold on a minute. Okay, as I was saying, I really do feel like somebody was rooting around in here. I could see Sierra doing it. Somehow, some way, back in the day, I don't know. Because for me to put those jars way back there, where I put other jars in cooler places, to me, it does not make any sense. I don't know what that is, but whatever it is, doesn't look good. Like, what is that? Nothing you want to eat, people. Okay, and first of all, this jar shouldn't even be here. It doesn't even say what it is. I don't even know what the hell that is. Like, what is that? Sugar? It's not written anything on it. So, maybe it's melted sugar because it's up by the stove. Because the oven is here. I don't know what that is, people. Oh my God. So anyway, like, yeah, no, this is, somebody's been in here rooting around when I haven't been in the house. Oh, I know what this is, people. I know exactly what this is. This is Punjabi sugar. I bought it one time thinking it was actual sugar. And it is, but it's not the kind that you eat. It's the kind that you make Punjabi wine with. So it's really not that great. It was in a Punjabi store, and I ended up giving what I bought. I ended up giving most of it away, and that's how I found out it was Punjabi sugar after I brought it home and I tasted it and whatever. And obviously it's melted in that jar. That's what those are. So I am just going to feed the worms with that. Because I've never used it. Obviously, I buried it back in the back for whatever reason. So those, I don't know if I need to bring them out. Because I've got beans, people. Do you see up in that cupboard over there? Right up in there where those little things, that cupboard, that little cupboard, I took out that cupboard and took everything out of there. And then I end up putting it, basically it's all nothing but beans. Beans in jars and shit, right? So here, now that I freaked myself out, and there's more beans in there. And then, of course, potatoes and dehydrated food. I just cleared out that cupboard. So I'm going to clean out this cupboard. What are you doing, Mom? 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 What are you doing, Mom?
That's how you do it.
Huh? What am I doing in here, people? Okay, I'm getting tired, people. I don't know what to put back there. Right? I don't want to put anything back there. I don't like burying shit, people. I don't. What that is right there, that little thing right there, and then there's another accompanying thing. I have this bread making machine. I did a video with it once before. I want to use it with Andre. But it also has a little blender and stuff. So that's okay. I know where that is. And then it has other parts that I have in a can that's in the bathroom. This is basically my remaining coconut that I've had from food storage for years and years and years ago, right? So I am using it. And you can see a few cans of those, right? They came from downstairs that were in a bin for long-term storage in case of an emergency. And then I brought them up, and I have been using them, so I'm going to keep those there. What I did up here, people, right, I took those pans that were in, you know where, right, in that other pantry, plus these beautiful, beautiful bread pans that I have here, but you can see, right, that's all there. And then more bread pans. I have to cover it up because this house is old. So as this door is being opened and closed for the silverware, it just gets a little fine. I'm going to get a clean one, right? And I'm going to cover this all up until I need them, right? But for now, I've just put those there. And then I put the popcorn there for Andre because he likes to make popcorn in the machine, right? So I left that there for him. And then I just took a few miscellaneous jars. These are still good, right? I canned those a while ago. I've been wanting to eat them. So just a few miscellaneous jars, right? But you see, that's the thing. You come in here, you start moving things around. So technically, I should move these out because they don't like to be moved around, knocked. So anyway, you can see what's going on in there. So I just left those there, right? And then, I don't know, like, hold on a minute. So you can see how, as my porch, this is my porch, right? Okay, so I pretty much, it's looking much better than what it was in terms of it's not as congested, right? I keep this out because I want to do caramel popcorn with Andre, and we were going to do a little video. I actually have little popcorn things. Here in this thing, I've kept this out because this is all for, like, making, you can't see, Freezy Pops and stuff, right? You can see that now, right? So I leave that there. Obviously, my bowls, for the most part. This is cake covers and whatever when I start making cakes with Andre. I still have a bit of shelving left in here. Still a little bit left in here, right? You can see, right? I'm trying not to overstuff it. I've checked everything. Everything's good. I put all the tomato soup just into that one corner. I used to have tomato, chicken, mushroom. Kids used to come all the time and come and take soup. Shmei used to come in here all the time and take soup, right? I'm in this corner and all I can think about is Shimei, right? She used to love to come in here and take soups and whatever, right? So anyway, just going to pretty much leave it like that for the most part. We know what's all in all those bins, right? And then I've got, what is it called? I'm getting tired, people. Oatmeal. So I'm going to fill up the other jar, and then I normally put the bag down here, right? It's in a bag, right? So I'll probably end up just taking that one little spot. As long as I can pretty much get in there, I don't want to overstuff it, right? Again, the purpose of this is so that when I have more space in the kitchen itself, you know, okay, Andre, what are we going to cook today? Let's go in here and pick something, you know? And then because I've got lots of brown sugars and icing sugar and those kind of things, then we can get into the rolled cinnamon buns, and those are delicious, right? I have all the pans. It's just a matter of finding the time and making more counter space, right? Hold on.